For all of our story weavers who have gotten and read through their manuscript, okay, this is the part where you get to organize your stickies and start creating your editing plan. Okay, so for this step, the only additional thing that you're going to need, supply wise, is the TOC or the outline that you can get from Scrivener. Okay, so if you're in Word, you can print up a table of contents. You do have to have headings and that sort of thing. So bear that in mind. To create a table of contents, you would need that. But when you're in Scrivener, it's super simple just to tell it to compile an outline of your scenes for you. Okay, so you will need that. That's the first thing. And then, of course, you need all your beautiful organized stickies. So the first step is once you have of course, read through your book, you're going to start pulling those stickies off and you're going to need a place. Now, I used my wall, as you guys could see. I bought some, you can see them behind me, these little corkboard thingies, because sticky notes don't like to stick for very long. And so I had to use push pins to kind of hold them in, and that's what was helpful about it. But if you want to use like a poster board or something along those lines, someplace where all of your developmental edits can go, and someplace where all your scene level edits, if you want to look, hopefully you haven't looked at those too much, but sometimes they do crop up and that's okay. But you want to organize those into one spot. And then if you have any leftover grammar and prose stuff, you can go ahead and chuck them. Okay, because by this time you're so sick of looking at everything that you don't feel too bad about doing that. Okay, but do make sure now. You might hold on to them just so that you can go through and make sure it wasn't stuff like, hey, this character's got 5 different spellings to their name. That's not a grammatical issue. That's a developmental issue, because you need to fix that globally. Or setting issues like things are misspelled, and, or you describe things one way and then they are 5 different descriptions and throughout the novel. That is not a line issue. That is a development issue. Okay, so, take it with a grain of salt. But in any case, eventually, once you have your plan all done, you can chuck those line issues into the trash, because you're going to rework a lot of stuff. Okay, so as you can see from the picture that I've got up on the screen right now, I have my each of my editing stages, and then I have even my POV characters to make sure that their story beats were in place, and I also had a world building little square. Excuse me, a world building square. Okay. And that's because of those, missing things or inconsistencies that might have crept up as the wrong kind of issue, because usually world building issues are also developmental issues. So you want to tackle those first. That way, baseline what you are supposed to have in your book and how your world functions. Okay. So, but that's just something that, that's just the way that I organized mine. You might find it works differently for you, but I just want to show you this is what worked for me. Okay. So once you have these up, you get to start looking through all your notes. Okay, all those little sticky notes. So start with your developmental stuff and go through and start organizing them however you like. If you just want to take one at a time, I think I tried to find like things like kind of in order, if you will. And you can do things that way. You can also start with your plot and with your character arcs, if you will, because of course, Save the Cat is centered more around a story arc, but it also functions plot wise. So you can start there as well, where you go in and you label which scenes and or chapters have the beats that you need, and you're going to see which ones you are missing as well, and say, hey, I need to add this beat into this particular area, and make a note of where you need to add a new chapter. Okay, so that is pretty much how you are going to create your editing plan. Okay, so once you have all of your notes and your sticky notes accounted for and you have your plan in place, guess what? It's time to execute. Okay, it's time to execute the thing. All right, you get to go in and you get to actually add in those chapters, listen to me. So once you have your editing plan ready to go, that is your battle plan. Okay, this is how you're going to attack this thing, and how you're going to fix it and make it so much better and prettier. All right, so yeah, that's the next step, is just actually executing the thing. Okay, so I'm going to have a short, brief little mention about that in just a little bit. All right. Okay, so now that you have finished your editing plan. That's kind of like your first path. That's the first thing that needs to happen before you can implement the plan. Okay, so we're going to talk about the implementation part. Okay, now the implementation part is going to be pretty short, but I do want to make some notes, because as you've got your plan, you're probably going to have to make some really hard and crazy decisions. That's usually what happens at this point. And you're probably going to freak out a little bit about, am I actually going to execute this plan? Okay. So let me give you some pointers. Okay. So if you want to talk about like supplies or prep for this particular thing, first off, make a copy of your file, and whatever, platform you're using. So whether it's a Word doc or a Scrivener file or a Google Doc, whatever you're using, make a copy of your book. Keep your original, and then rename it something that like this is a developmental edit. Okay. That way your original stays safe, and you have now got a copy that you can totally mess up and do all sorts of craziness, because you have your original and it's safe. You can always go back to that and fix it. Okay. So that's first off. Okay. Okay, now let me talk about number two, some major notes on major edits. Okay, because I had to go through this. Um, yeah, I had to go through this, and it was not easy to make some of the decisions that I had to make. Like, I had to make the decision to cut an entire POV character out, and which took out about a quarter of my book, which was good. It ended up being really good. I also had to make the decision of going from third person to first person, which was a good decision, but it freaked me out at the time. Okay. And so, again, these are notes, like if you come to something along these types of major overhauls, okay, don't necessarily freak out before you go and you make this decision for your entire book. Okay, take out a chapter or two, okay, and execute that type of edit that you are thinking about doing. So, for instance, when I decided to go from third to first person perspective, I took one or two chapters out and I rewrote it in first person, and it made a huge difference. It was wonderful, okay, and I loved it. If I hadn't done that, and if I had just gone through and done it wholesale, I could have potentially really ruined my book, okay? And I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to take a small portion and test it out first. Make sure that you like it, and then make the decision if that is really a major edit that you want to make, okay? Otherwise, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna bite you in the butt later on, and you're gonna waste a bunch of time. Now, similarly, I took out an entire POV character, okay, and I saved my file and I made that copy of you know, the pre-version, which kept that POV, and then I tinkered with the other one, and I went through and I tested it out to see if I actually liked it. And if I hadn't done that and I just didn't make that copy, it would have again really bitten me in the butt. So, because what if there could have been, it could have been an issue where I didn't think I needed that POV character, but they had major plot issue, like necessary plot things in the book, and I didn't have a way of fixing those plot holes if I removed it. So make sure that you make a copy of it, okay? And this is true for any editing stage, but make sure you make a copy of it, and make sure you test out your major edits before you do it to the whole book. Otherwise, your implementation is going to really cost you time and energy, and it's going to make you really frustrated. Okay. All right. Okay, story weavers. So that's about it. I hope that's not too long to help you walk through and see what all goes into actually executing a developmental edit. Hopefully, it gave you some great ideas. Again, this tailor these edits to how you work the best. Okay, what I present to you is just what worked for me. And if you have ideas about, hey, I'm actually using this technique, share them with us. Okay, that's what we're here for on the Discord. That is what the library is for. So please do share that information with us. And man, I can't wait to see what you guys make and how, how your stories evolve. And I cannot wait to see you smash your goals, because I know this is going to be such a rewarding thing once you get, it's always once you get to the end of it, right? But in any case, I know you guys are going to do great with this. As ever, if you have questions, please let me know. You can hit me up in the Discord. You can send me an email, whatever it is you like. And I am more than happy to help you guys out. All right. Well, I will see you later.